Today, I'm trying a recipe for frosted fruitcake cookies from Pillsbury's Holiday Classics. If you'd like to try this recipe for yourself, it's written in the description underneath this video. And if you'd like to go straight to the cooking portion, you can skip ahead to this timestamp. This book is from 1980, and it looks to be one of those cookbooks that you might pick up at like a supermarket or grocery store checkout. It seems like Pillsbury came out with quite a few of these, including their Pillsbury bake-off cookbooks. They're all like roughly this size. It's pretty small, pretty compact, and it usually contains a sampling of recipes that have won the bake-off or that are compiled from some of their other booklets and stuff as well. But look at this cover. Doesn't that look delicious? That is a Yule log cake. On the back cover, we've got a couple more of the recipes that are featured in this book. I got this book last year when we drove from California to Ohio for Christmas. This was from Ed's grandma. While I was there, she kind of let me go through her cookbooks and take the ones that I thought I might want. This book contains a lot of different types of recipes, cookies and cakes and things like that, appetizers, but there are a lot of recipes in here that are meant for gift giving. So things that you can make and package up, give to your friends and neighbors for Christmas. You can even see this very first chapter is holiday gift ideas. So we've got some beautifully packaged, what looks like jams and jellies. It's very festive. I kind of love this plaid ribbon look they have going on. I thought these cookie cutter cakes were super cute as well. The bright, like primary colors kind of makes me think this is something you would want to make with kids, but I think they might be a little tricky. They might be a little messy, so maybe older kids. I thought these looked like cucumber slices, but I'm pretty sure those are cream cheese mints. Yes, they are. If you've never had cream cheese mints, it's cream cheese, usually like peppermint extract, vanilla, green food coloring, and then powdered sugar. And you kind of like roll them into a log and slice them. I think you can maybe even use molds to make different shapes if you want. Oh, I guess the UPS person is outside. So then there's also this section on holiday crafts. It's crafts, it's decorations. I think it's also ways that you can wrap and package gifts. Oh my gosh. We're just gonna pretend to read. These cookie tins, for instance, I just love this. It looks like kind of like either a button-down shirt or like a flannel nightgown. I haven't really decided. It does have kind of a bow on it, so I'm maybe flannel nightgown, but then look at this. It's like a tin that is topped in just little fake gifts. Like I remember seeing these a lot growing up. I don't know if I see them quite as much now, but they're usually like little blocks of styrofoam that were, you know, wrapped in paper. Sometimes it was like mylar kind of metallic paper, but I just think that's so cute. What a great way to present a food gift. And then we have the cookie flour centerpiece. A lot of great ideas in here. A lot of things that remind me of my childhood. Since this was published in 1980, I was born a year later, and my earliest Christmas memories from like maybe 1984-ish on, I mean, it would have been of things like this. Oh, look at this. Look at this Christmas house. Something about this color scheme as well. You see like any number of like Christmas color schemes nowadays, which I love because everybody likes something different. But I don't know, something about the colors and the lighting in this book, they just really like remind me of when I was a kid. And then you come to photographs like these, and I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like the lens is very like soft. I'm not really sure. They were getting a little artistic with this one, but it's like they put some effect on the lens or like put Vaseline or something on it to make this very like soft and hazy glow. I just thought that photo was hilarious. Yeah, what is the deal with this? So the beef Wellington recipe, it has a photograph of the finished beef Wellington, but it's got that weird like blur effect on it. And this is not something they use on every photograph. It's either only on this or it's like only on a few of the photos in this book. It's just so weird. This is meant for like football game watching. So in 1980, it was crispy snacks, wassail, hickory smoked barbecue buns, clam and corn chowder, and blueberry dessert pizza. I mean, I'd eat all of those. Well, I'm lying. I wouldn't eat the clam chowder, but everything else sounds really good. Football day or not. Listen to me, football day. What is that? Sports. And then there's this lovely spread for New Year's Day. And New Year's Eve? New Year's Day? What is it? It just says New Year's celebration. So if you party long enough, it could be New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Ooh, peanut butter bonbons. I know a lot of folks who would love these. Peanut butter bonbons are made with frosting. So it's 1 can of Pillsbury ready to spread vanilla frosting, peanut butter margarine, graham cracker crumbs, and then fudge frosting, which I'm guessing goes on the outside. Yeah, it is. You melt the chocolate frosting and then you dip them. So then we come to this photo, and it's just this lovely assortment of like cookies and candies. And the recipe I'm trying today is on this page as well. These are frosted fruitcake cookies. and I'm super excited to make them. I made my first fruitcake last year. It wasn't your typical standard fruitcake, it was a no-bake fruitcake. And I do have a video of that. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll go ahead and link that in the description down below. But I feel like these fruitcake cookies, they sound really good and they seem pretty simple to make and like less of a commitment than a huge like single fruitcake. So I think, you know, they're not exactly the same as a fruitcake, but they do have a lot of the same flavors. So they've got that like the candied fruits and peel and nuts and a lot of like warm spices and things like that. I don't think I've ever tried anything quite like them, but they do look really delightful and delicious. If I have not adequately conveyed my enthusiasm for these cookies, I'm delighted to be making them. I feel like fruitcake is just one of those ultimate Christmas things, at least here in the United States. I know in other places it's consumed at other times of year. So here is what we do. Heat the oven to 375, done. Lightly grease cookie sheets, not doing that. I'm gonna use nonstick cookie sheets and see how that goes. Otherwise, I might switch over to like a Silpat or something on a sheet pan if it doesn't go very well with my test cookie. So now I get to cream together brown sugar and margarine. I'm not using margarine, I'm using butter. It's Christmas, live it up. So we have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and 1/4 of a cup of butter. You know me in this mixer. So now I'm going to add an egg. Mix that in. Scrape and mix. Scrape, scrape, and mix. Ask Santa for a good set of spatulas for Christmas. Now it says to gradually add the buttermilk. I almost never buy buttermilk. This recipe only calls for 1/4 of a cup, and I didn't want to buy an entire container, even a small container, just for this much. So I did the trick with vinegar. You can use lemon juice as well. So I added a teaspoon of white vinegar to this measuring cup and then filled it the rest of the way with regular milk, stirred that together and just kind of let it sit until it was slightly thickened. So I'm gonna add a little at a time and then mix in. We'll set that aside. It's kind of like curdled looking, doesn't look great, but it will look great, I promise you. So now I'm combining the dry ingredients, and that is 1 cup of flour. It says to use Pillsbury's Best. I have no idea what this is. This is probably King Arthur or something. It's fine. You don't need to follow the brand on this in this case. Combine flour, cinnamon, allspice, cloves, and nutmeg. So I've got my nice warm spices right here. So then you add your baking soda and salt, and that's 1/4 teaspoon of each. So really it feels like there's not a lot of dry ingredients in here. And I think that's because there's so many extra like Christmas goodies like candied fruit and nuts and things like that. The amount of cookie dough that this seems to be making, it appears pretty small. And this recipe is supposed to make 3 dozen cookies. We'll see how it bakes up. But I'm so used to making batches of cookies with multiple cups of flour, and this has just got the 1. Oh, it smells so good already. Very Christmassy. And then stir it into this mixture. We'll do a little bit at a time. So now we get to add all of the things that make these fruitcake cookies, and that is the candied fruit mix, the nuts, and the raisins. I had never used candied peel or candied fruit mix until last year when I made my no-bake fruitcake. I remember growing up and seeing it in the stores and thinking it looked really pretty, but not really knowing what it was for. Stir in 1 cup of candied fruit. Now I got this at a local bulk food store, shout out to Urban Bulk Foods, and I was very excited because I got exactly what I needed. This is about a cup. So happy to get exactly what I needed at that store. Very festive. Whoa. The nuts, so I am using 1 cup of finely chopped walnuts. It just says nuts, so I suppose you could also use pecans, hazelnuts, I don't know, any other nut that you want. 1/2 cup of raisins. The dough felt a lot more like a batter before I put all of these things in, but all of this stuff is like really, really bulking this up now, and I can see how it's gonna be much more scoopable than it was before. Still kind of soft, won't lie. I think I'm gonna use like my little cookie scoops, and that should help. So I'm not trying to like get this off of just a regular teaspoon. It's giving me like the same feeling as the cookie dough for the beef cookies that was like really soft, and the cookie dough for the soup cookies. It was like, it's kind of batter-esque. So I think that means these are gonna be kind of on the soft side. It's scooping time. Scoop by the teaspoonful. So I've got my little teaspoon scoop here. So these are gonna be little petite cookies. I like a little cookie because that means that you get to try a lot of the other cookies that are, if there happen to be any around. Drop by rounded teaspoons full on prepared sheets. So I'm gonna do my nonstick air bake sheets, and I'm just gonna do a few because I wanna make sure that these sheets will be okay before I scoop a whole bunch of them. And if not, we'll switch out to a baking mat, and usually that does the trick. So I'm gonna do like 5. Now that I'm making them this size, there's just a whole lot of batter here, so we'll see. Now I'm going to bake these for 10 to 12 minutes in a 375-degree oven. Hello, yes, we have a new day. I ran out of time yesterday, so next I'm going to be working on the icing. One thing I wanted to make a note of, I did start with my air bake cookie sheets, my non-stick air bakes, and I ended up switching over to a Silpat on a regular aluminum sheet tray. It wasn't that the cookies were fully sticking, they just like left a little bit more residue than I liked on the air bake sheets, so I switched over to the Silpat and it was much easier. So that is what I would recommend for you. Either use a silicone baking mat or grease your sheet trays when you're baking these. So the icing for these cookies is what appears to be just like a very basic cream cheese frosting. I don't think that's traditional to a fruitcake, at least not the ones that I've seen, but I'm gonna follow the recipe. I think that little bit of icing kind of does make it look really pretty when you decorate them. This icing starts with 3 ounces of softened cream cheese. I always like to make sure my cream cheese is very soft whenever I'm making pretty much anything, unless it says otherwise. Combine cream cheese, milk, and vanilla. So in addition to the cream cheese, I have 1 tablespoon of milk, 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna combine that a little bit before we add the powdered sugar. I am going to gradually add in 2 cups of powdered sugar, a little bit at a time. This is the icing. There's not a whole lot of it. I probably should have doubled the recipe. Next, I am going to go ahead and decorate these cookies. Before I get too far in the decorating process, this is what the baked cookies look like. I didn't even realize I hadn't shown you yet. They're kind of like toasty on the bottom. They're a little sticky on the outside. I think since they've rested overnight, that texture's changed a little bit, and they're pretty bendy. They're very soft. That's what they look like now, but we're gonna improve them even more. So this is what we're going for right here. Instead of red cherries, I am going to do green, and I'm really excited about it. I specifically sought out green candied cherries. These, aren't they pretty? I'm super excited to use these. Again, this is a thing I remember seeing growing up as a kid, thinking they were gorgeous and not really knowing what they were for. It did come with some recipes and, oh my, a coupon if I need to buy more. Oh, I love it. I love how these look so much. So basically, I mean, it's pretty simple. Get a cookie, get a little bit of icing because I don't have a lot here. Cut a cherry in half. Oh, this is gonna get sticky, I can tell. Oh wow, I pulverized that one. And there it is, a thing of beauty. I'm not gonna decorate all of these on camera for you because that's just pretty repetitive and there are a lot of cookies here. I just love it. How cute is that? This like bejeweled neon green, not even like neon, it's kind of emerald. It's just so vibrant and like clear. Okay, we're gonna do just this one little plate and then I'll give them a taste. Okay, look, how Christmassy is this right now? Let's taste them. I'm gonna choose this one right here. I took a real big bite, you guys. It tastes like fruitcake. It tastes like fruitcake. So if someone in your life loves fruitcake, they will probably enjoy these cookies. Possibly for someone who's like never had fruitcake before, this might be an interesting experience, but I would definitely warn your guests of what these are. Just because I know there are people who really don't like the flavor of like a candied citrus peel. I think these cookies are enjoyable. They're definitely like heavy. This is a winter cookie for sure. I think the addition of the cream cheese frosting is a good one. It kind of balances out everything else, like the heaviness of the nuts and the fruits. If you like fruitcake, I think this is easier to make than fruitcake, and you don't have to commit to an entire cake. You've got these nice little like bite-sized bits. I hope you like this video. I'm having a blast making all of this Christmas content for you. And hey, there's still time to enter my giveaway. If you haven't heard, I am giving away a copy of Betty Crocker's cookie book. The giveaway is going on through December 8th. If you'd like all of the details on exactly what I'm giving away and how to enter, go take a look at my cookie press video. I'll link it in the description down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post videos about food, vintage cookbooks, and retro recipes every week. Thanks again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.